in South Louisiana. Anyone who's got allergies, take this.
NAD is probably the biggest thing coming out right now on anti-aging. Normally, like when we're tight in here and you start getting that pressure and you're taking those joints and muscles through full range, this one feels almost addicting.
So consistency over intensity. And then we're just going to roll up and down. It seems crazy, but when you go get massages and they're finding tightness in here, the first thing you need to do is start releasing this stuff. Kelly, thank you. You did the exercises last week and it helped a lot.
Good day, my friends. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Tea with Dr. D. Checking in on y'all. Been getting ready for Athletic Recovery Month. This is the time of year where we really kind of ramp this up. So we have some exciting stuff that I'll tell y'all about. But this is for y'all. I try and get on, answer whatever questions we have. Please let me know if you can hear me, first of all. That would be great. But also you can text any questions in 801-691-7582. Those come straight to me. I try and answer those as regularly as I can. We get all kind of fun questions on there, whether it's recovery or supplements or testing or whatever it might be. So very good stuff. We've been talking a lot about athletic recovery, so we'll dive into a bunch of recovery questions on this, but I want you to interrupt me. It won't actually interrupt me, let's be honest. But we'll pull it up if you can ask any question you want. If you have something that has been a health related question, something that you've been wondering, something that you're trying to get into, just let me know and we'll answer as best as we can. Sometimes that means saying, I don't know. But we'll dive into it. Let me know what questions y'all have, and please say hi, drop a line. So let's dive in. I know we had asked a few of the, let's say, followers, if you will. I don't particularly like that term, but hey, if they had any like recovery questions. So Jay sent us in, how can athletes know if they're actually recovering well? I think this is actually a wonderful question, Jace, because I think this is something that gets talked about a lot. Is like, oh, make sure you're recovering, but people don't actually know what that means. How do I know if I'm recovering? So, my favorite thing for this, if you're actually tracking athletes and you're trying to pay attention to yourself, am I recovered enough to have another heavy workout? My favorite tool for this is heart rate variability, HRV. If y'all been following along for a while, you've probably heard me talk about this. HRV is the variability between your heartbeats. So, your heart actually doesn't beat bump, 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 right? There's actually a variance in the time between each beat. And when you're really relaxed and you're recovered, there's more time between your beats. There's more variability in those times between the beats. And that tells us that your system is rested and recovered. It's not stressed. When you get really stressed and you're not recovered well, your heart's like boom, boom, boom. It's like, let me make sure I'm doing everything right. That's not a good thing. So if we have low heart rate variability, hey, Heather, how are you, my dear? If we have low heart rate variability, then um, that tells us that you're not quite recovered and you need to put more into recovery. So it does give us an idea of your nervous system. I start with that. If somebody is just tracking, you got to track this, or you couldn't tell me your number and tell me today that your HRV is like 56 milliseconds. I don't know what that means unless we've been tracking this for a while. And so that's something that our athletes, all of our athletes should be tracking. We should be wearing an Aura ring, using a bed, so like using a watch, the Whoop band, any of those things. You need to know your HRV if you're an athlete so that we can tell you this. If in all of our athletes, when we start doing cryo, we see their heart rate variability those nights after just skyrocket. So it's a really good thing to track, to know, hey, I'm doing the right stuff. Another thing is like we will look at sleep quality. It's kind of along the same lines, right? Sleep quality, resting heart rate. And then one of the things that we look at is power output. You could track this with your athletes and with yourself to see if you are recovering. And that's just like a basic strength test. So if an athlete's working with us and they get in the gym and they're like, my typical warm up is 50 pounds, and 50 pounds feels like a lot to me today. That's a very subjective thing. We used to use a grip dynamometer every day, and you could check that. And like, okay, certain days when you're not recovered, even your grip strength is gonna suffer. So having some basic strength assessment is a really good way. I think that's pretty reliable for us to see what the recovery rate is. And then we also will look at kind of the subjective energy. We talk to people all the time who are like, when I'm recovered, I've got this grit that I can get. So I would combine those. I would start with HRV and be tracking that. And if an athlete has more than a day or two in a row where they're going down, I'm going to pay attention to that. Um, Sleep quality, same thing. If they're not getting good sleep and they're not getting over 8 hours, if it's an athlete, we want to pay attention and start putting the things in place to improve sleep. You'll notice that if you improve sleep, you'll improve HRV in a lot of cases. So they recover better. We recover better at night. So that's how we use kind of measurement. You could look at inflammatory markers to see that, kind of like an HSCRP, TNF alpha. That would be almost like in a very intense situation where you were worried that somebody was getting into like a dangerous level of recovery. I think for most athletes, if they can just start tracking sleep, start tracking HRV, they'll see some really good changes if they're doing the right thing. So hope that helps, especially if you are doing things leading up to some form of event. We want to be making sure that you're in optimal recovery, and we need to know that through like metrics through our measurements. So great question. Love looking at those things. It's always fun to give athletes like a competitive advantage. Recovery is a competitive advantage, I promise you. Athletes that are like into the season, finishing stronger than they started, they are recovering really, really well. So good question. What's up, everybody? Thanks for jumping. Thanks for jumping on. Say hi. Give me a thing. Give me a line. Hey, Martin. I'm interested in pro recovery, particularly cryo, PEMF, and infrared. How do they work? Yeah. So we talk about pro recovery. We do kind of this combination professional recovery thing. And basically, what we're trying to do is check all the boxes. We did a study a few years back. It's been a while. I think this was pre-COVID. Now that I'm saying it, I say a few years back, but um, so where we had throughout the season, we had athletes do cryotherapy. PEMF is pulse electromagnetic field therapy, mouthful. That's why we call it PEMF, and then infrared. Cryo reduces inflammation in the tissues, does a really good job of clearing out damage, soreness. Research shows that for about the 24 hours after we do cryo, you get a power improvement and an endurance improvement. All these things mean that we can recover a whole lot better. Infrared stimulates mitochondria, so your cells have more energy to go through the repair process. And PEMF is vascular therapy, so it's basically getting blood flow to all the cells in our body, improving microcirculation, and then like ion exchange. That gets a little bit nerdy, but basically it shows that it speeds soft tissue repair, reduces inflammation, modifies pain levels in some interesting ways. And so when you put all these three together in athletes, a lot of times we'll do some like percussion release and massage therapy for them. But in this pro recovery format, we see incredible changes in somebody's ability to go through a season without injuries. So in the groups that we were tracking, their recovery rate went from 4 out of 11 had a non-traumatic injury. They were running, they didn't get hit, they just had some form of a sprained ankle, ACL tear. I think we had a couple hamstrings. Um, so 4 out of 11. And then the year that they did pro recovery throughout the whole year, 0 out of 11. That's not a huge group, right? That's not big. But in years since, as we've gotten more and more athletes into this, what we see is the same thing. Athletes get mid-season and they normally start to kind of like get a little sluggish, and they all tell us, "Look, that's not happening. I feel really good. My muscles feel good. My tissues feel good. Yeah, I'm a little beat up, especially if it's football. It's a contact sport. They have stuff, but they're like my energy levels are good. My power is good. My speed is good. So, and we see that in injury rates. So that's basically what it does. um you can contact us, Martin. Sorry to like, I'm not gonna dodge it, but it depends on what athletes need. So like, if it's a high level football player who's playing a lot, take a running back, they're probably gonna try and do a pro recovery session like twice a week because they need a lot of it. In our pitchers, they're often coming 1 time a week after they throw to actually get all those tissues recovered. And those things change it. So it'd be a better thing for us to have a conversation. What are you looking for? What do you need? Um, you know, how do we kind of get the best results for that athlete? So um, I'll put it that way. But that's what it does. It's really good. I love it. Heather, thank you for the question, my dear. How do you get back to full body exercise, multiple health issues? Okay. Um, so here's my progression back to full exercise. What we want to start with is like foundational. So, am I getting enough steps? So I would start there. Am I getting, I would say 7,500. I know everybody says 10,000. That's not really what the research tells us. Um, so am I getting 7,500 steps? Am I getting enough sleep? I know nobody talks about that, but am I getting enough sleep? So I would say that's 7+ hours a night. Um, then am I getting adequate nutrition? And like, okay, now I've at least got some foundations that my body can recover as I start going back into exercise. If I've done those things, what we want to start with is some version of pain-free um, movements. Usually that's isometrics, meaning like I'm firing the muscle but I'm not moving real well. I'm not moving at all. It's isometric. I'm keeping the same length while I fire that. We do that for a couple of reasons. That starts to gear the tissue for contractility. It starts getting blood flow in there. We're getting motion. We're firing the nerve. We're firing the muscle. We're connecting the brain and the muscle. We're pulling on the tendons. We're moving the muscle cells. We're getting blood flow in there. All of these are good things, and usually we're not going to cause any problems with that. We're not going to hurt more. So we love isometrics for like shoulder, chest, core, back, hips, knees, and ankles. We start doing those things. Then once we can do that for a couple of weeks, we do the like 2 week method. So make sure for the first couple weeks that you can do. You would do like an upper body isometric day, a core isometric day, a lower body isometric day for at least 2 weeks, and make sure that you're not having any pain with that. So we're just trying to find moves that you can do that don't hurt. Once we can do that, then we start doing controlled, usually eccentric. So we're trying to like lower weights. Some moves work really well. Machines help with this a lot. And so we try and figure out some eccentric training that somebody can do. Same thing, we're trying to prime that tissue to start getting the body to go in and make it more resilient. Then, if we can do that for a few weeks with no pain, we start doing regular concentric training. I'm just doing full reps. When we get to that stage, we are doing 50% of what we think we could do. So it should feel almost too light. Like, oh, I'm barely even accomplishing anything. If you think that, you're probably doing it right. And then what we find is like 5% a week is the best progression. I've had patients where we like print this on an Excel spreadsheet and did the equation of like week one, I'm at 10 pounds. Week 2, 5% would technically be like 10.05 pounds. We can't quite do that, but um, sets and reps, and we just increase it by 5% either on the weight, the sets, or the reps. And so it's a little bit of a staggered thing, but we can make it just kind of track down for us to tell us where do I want to be in 6 months or 8 months. If I'm improving 5% a week, it can progress pretty quickly. I mean, within a few months, you'll see that once you work through those. So make sure we're getting those foundations done first. Start with isometrics. You'll do really well starting with isometrics. I know it feels weird to be starting to like work out, but I'm not doing a bunch of reps. I've found that those first like 6 weeks, if we can go isometrics really slowly, you can do some good stuff. Like a plank is an isometric, and that'll get you sweating, right? And then do eccentrics controlled, and then go concentric. That might take you 6 weeks, and it'll do really well to help us get back without, trying to go too fast and injuring ourselves. During those initial phases, I would say like make recovery your friend. Kind of what I was saying earlier, track HRV, make sure that you are resting and sleeping really well, make sure we're getting great nutrition because if we are doing things that cause more inflammation, we need to make sure we're addressing that so my body can stay up and repair the tissues because I am pulling on stuff in some different ways. So, um, yeah, within no time, I think you would be back doing martial arts and working that, but build up that foundation first. So hope that helps. Uh, Thank you, Bill. Thank you, my man. What is the best supplements or peptides for athletic recovery? I know everybody likes their. We've been talking a lot about peptides, and I love peptides. I'm going to put this on the front end. You have to check and see if peptides are legal for you. Peptides are not legal currently for NFL, Olympians, college athletes. So I'm going to put that on there. I'm not telling anybody to take anything. If you get tested, don't do it. It's not worth it. I think it's dumb, and I will stand on my soapbox and say, the fact that we are inhibiting athletic recovery, these are not performance like massive performance enhancers. They're trying to keep people healthy. So it's a little bit irritating that we're taking that away from our athletes and saying like, oh, we're worried that they're going to give somebody an edge. I think that's stupid. Health is not an edge. It's like that's your baseline. So make sure you check and see if these things are safe. The first one is going to be, it is legal, is creatine. If you're an athlete, honestly, if you're a human being, you should probably take creatine. Creatine is awesome for, like, we're finding out, I wrote about this yesterday. We're finding more and more studies for like brain health. Quite a few studies came out in the last few years for depression with creatine. And then, yes, it's been studied for what, 30 years now for athletic performance. Take 5 to 10 grams a day. This supports recovery. You get increased ATP. So energy production by your cells so they can recover, they can function better. Take creatine if you're an athlete, for sure. Magnesium is probably one that I don't see a ton of athletes on that I would put on there. Take like 2 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or threonate. I would probably say glycinate for an athlete. This helps your muscle relaxation at night so you recover better. This helps enzyme production. This helps with sleep, all of these things. Love magnesium for athletes. My next one would probably be like collagen and vitamin C. Take like 10 to 20 grams of collagen with probably 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. That would be like at least one packet, maybe two. We do some higher dose vitamin C stuff. That supports a lot of tendon and ligament repair. That's what collagen's for, right? And so that helps a lot with loading your tendons all the time, your training, right? And so we want to make sure we get those things repaired. Those would probably be my main ones. I would say stay on glutathione. Glutathione is your master antioxidant, helps with the recovery, inflammation, cell repair. Love glutathione, same thing. Most of this is probably good for anybody who's being active, but vital if you're a professional athlete, college athlete, you want to do these things. Again, my caveat on peptides is you got to make sure you can take them, make sure they're legal. But if we're a weekend warrior, and you're pushing your body, or you have a marathon coming over, you're about to ramp up training, I would absolutely be doing a round of BPC 157 and TB 500, the variants of thymosin beta 4. That stack, they call that, if you look online, the Wolverine stack, is really, really powerful. So this Wolverine stack really gets you the inflammatory control, the tissue repair, all in one thing. If you're pushing your body to a lot and it's legal, I would take that BPC stack, BPC TB500 stack. It's one of the best things that you can take for performance, and you feel really good on it. My caveat is I've been seeing this. Watch where you get it. We've had people who came in who got it from like China or TikTok. Don't do that. Find a good compounder, find a good practitioner who uses it with a lot of patients and they know it's safe. I would, even if you're like spending like whatever 20% more. The only negatives I've ever seen from any of these things have been like, other than like mild stomach upset or something like that first thing in the morning if they're taking it, and have had stomach issues, that very mild stuff. But like actual side effects have been when people got these things online from a non-reputable source. So that's my caveat. Like make sure you know who you're getting it from, and it's a really good company. So you know, we could go down the peptide rabbit hole, but that'd be my starting point for athletic recovery, Bill. Start with creatine, add some collagen, vitamin C, magnesium, probably a good stack. And that's not a super difficult thing in terms of price or any of that stuff. So good. Smatty, how are you? Do you have a list of stretches that I can do at home on thoracic outlet? I had posted a video. I remember this. I'm at my wit's end with pain and tingling. Okay. If you're at your wit's end, I would a ask for help, find somebody who can treat this. Um, when you get thoracic outlet is compression on the nerves that come through the thoracic outlet, through the shoulder. So a lot of times this is coming from, I know it's thoracic outlet, it sounds like it's coming from the upper back. Not quite, but so it usually involves compression from the muscles on the side of the neck, the muscles in your chest, and then the first rib up here. Most of people don't realize if you press in here and there's a spot that's really hard, that's your first rib. And what happens is the muscles in your neck tighten and it basically pulls that first rib up, and we start banging in to the nerves that are going out into my arm. So what we want to do is loosen all the structures that would pull that first rib up or compress the nerves in the shoulder. So what you're trying to do is like lengthen your scalene muscles. That's the muscles on the side. Anchor your arm down, and then all we're doing is just stretching off to the side to loosen these muscles here. You're gonna hold that like 30 seconds and do a few of those. These aren't big muscles. The other one you would want to do is like loosen the muscle that attaches from the back, the levator scapula. I would hold the shoulder down again, but instead of going to the side, now you're coming forward, and we're just going to hold that one for 30 seconds. I would probably look at doing like a pec stretch, open the muscles here. And then another one that works really well for this is to do a hang. So like grab a pull-up bar and just hang to decompress. You'll stretch out a lot of the muscles that pull you forward and cause some compression on the thoracic, the brachial plexus, the nerves that are irritated in thoracic outlet. The last thing, and probably one of the most important, is you need to start mobilizing that first rib down. We use like a mobility ball, but you could even use kind of like some version of a broomstick or something wedged into like a corner, and you'd be laying on your back. I'll have to show you this, but basically, what do I have here? I'm going to show you on, hopefully this doesn't break. But if this was a ball, I would be leaning against the wall and I would be pressing this down into this. And then what I'm doing is that same stretch. I'm doing a scalene stretch and I'm doing some turns. And you're going to feel this like all into the shoulder, into the neck, into the face. Pardon my little hourglass there. Not quite a mobility ball. Don't do that with an hourglass. But that one will start to mobilize that first rib down and get pressure off the nerves. I think the reason the muscles tighten up in most thoracic outlet is because those nerves are getting a little bit of compression and inflammation, and our body's going to protect that at all costs. And so it tightens everything up, and unfortunately, that gets us stuck in that spiral. So I would start with that, but yes. And caveat to start, if you're getting a lot of that, start doing all those stretches and start taking PEA. We've talked about PEA on this. Go look some of that stuff up. Love PEA reduces inflammation in the nerves. Natural compound, very, very helpful. Something that should get talked about a lot more because the studies show that within 2 weeks of thoracic outlet, carpal tunnel, or sciatic, the average improvement was like 50%. Whenever we're dealing with nerve inflammation. So add that in there, but ask for help. If it's getting that much, you're probably going to need somebody to start releasing tension across the nerve roots and get that first rib actually moving and kind of take pressure off the nerve. So I hope that helps, Smatty. I hope you feel better soon. Start doing those, start going light and kind of progressing slowly. So nerve glides could be good, and strengthening your scapula could be good. I would probably, if it's hurting that much, I wouldn't start doing a ton of nerve glides yet. And going back to Heather's question, if you're going to start doing some like mid back strengthening, start slow. Start with isometrics. Can you do that without irritating the nerves? If the answer is yes, we can move on. So I hope that helps. Natalia, 85. What is the best dosage of glutathione? Good question. Love glutathione. I think everybody should be taking glutathione regularly. Hi, Duke. Y'all want to see the puppy? Come see. Say hi. Duke, get to work. He's being shy. Doesn't want to be on camera today. Um, So there's multiple ways you can get glutathione in. You could do it through like a liposomal glutathione. Um, Normally with that, you would take 250 milligram doses morning and night. This is one of the times where I like components of glutathione better. I take this. So this is Rob Keller. um, Original glutathione. Rob Keller was a brilliant physician who discovered that a lot of his uh, unhealthy patients were depleted in glutathione. He starts replenishing it and they feel tons better. Um, and so in that situation, you're taking the different components that build glutathione, so they get taken into the cells and then put back together in glutathione. So with this one, you're getting about 750 milligrams of NAC, N-acetylcysteine, and 1,500 milligrams of L-glutamine. And so with that, you're doing half a dose morning, half a dose at night. If you start taking either one of those, I would make sure that I'm splitting my daily dose up in morning and night. We say that because like your sleep will get, I'm telling you, 25% better if all you did was started taking glutathione at night. Take it right before bed. So if you're doing that through a liposome, do like 250 milligrams before bed, 250 milligrams in the morning. If you're taking that through its components, same thing, we would be doing like 750 milligrams of L-glutamine, and we'd be doing what, 375 milligrams of N-acetylcysteine at night. I think my math is right there. Either way, if you get one, take half the dose. So like this one, a full dose would be 6 pills. We take 3 at night and 3 in the morning. If you're doing a liposomal glutathione, you're going to do usually one pill is going to be 250 milligrams. You'll do one pill in the morning, one pill at night. So hope that helps. It's same thing. Good to research your providers, where they're coming from. Glutathione has gotten very popular, really good. Just get it from a reputable source who does third-party testing. Um, but very, very good for oxidative stress, recovery, inflammation, cell health. Our body's got to clean up its cells, and glutathione is a really good antioxidant to help do that. You need to be taking that. That's the only thing that I don't stop taking year round. We take that year round. Most other supplements we go in and out. Glutathione, just keep on taking it. We need it so much to keep our cells healthy and keep oxidative stress from starting to damage and speed aging and speed injuries and all that fun stuff. So um, hope that helps. Hey, Christina, how are you? Where are we located? Right now, I'm located. No, I'm just kidding. We are located in Lafayette, Louisiana. So right here, southern coast of the state. Uh, we're located at 325 Oil Center Drive is the office. So if you're looking that up, go to acadianapain.com. You'll be able to find it, and got all our contact information and any of that stuff. We get a lot more questions nowadays about people kind of coming in from other states and stuff, and we have seen that. And I think we're getting better systems around being able to give great treatment in a shorter period of time and actually change some things that keep changing. Some of this is in the regenerative therapy treatments that are available. And we are, oh, thank you, Al. 325 Oil Center Drive, Lafayette, Louisiana, 70503. But and give you a ton of information. So one of the things that we do is like a full body wellness assessment. This checks, we make a 3D movement scan of your body. Where are you moving? Where are you not moving? What's tight? What's loose? All of that stuff. Then we do a strength assessment, front, back, left, right. Where do we have imbalances in strength and where are we not at our benchmarks? When you do this, it creates a system that you can use that'll probably guide your training for like at minimum 3 to 6 months, depending on who you are. So I was talking to the staff the other day, like the way that you use a full deep blood test to start changing the foods that you're taking in, what supplements you're taking, all of that stuff. That's what this type of physical assessment does for your strength and exercise training. Do you need to spend more time on core? Do you need to spend more time balancing strength on the left side of your body because you're compensating and that's causing this like, twisted compensation and movement pattern? Are we really tight in our hips? And so if we try and squat, we're actually putting a bunch of pressure on our knees and lower back. We want to answer all that so you have a great plan of what to do. And so now we're actually able to kind of do this in a way that I think gives people just a crazy amount of value. So even if you're not local, give us a shout. We can probably point you in some good directions if nothing else. So um hope that helps. Loved having all of you, and thank you. We do this the last week of every month, usually Tuesday or Wednesday night. Make sure you're staying tuned for that. We let everybody know and send it out. But remember, it doesn't take a ton to get healthy. I think if you do a few little things consistently, the compounding effect of that that feeds into your health and starts to grow over time can be massive. A few small changes that you do to improve sleep, nutrition, recovery, immune health, mental health, all of those can compound and create major changes in your life if we stick with it and we do the small things consistently. So I hope that helps. Thank y'all for joining me. Let me know if we can do anything for y'all. We're here to help as many people as we can. We want everybody to find hope, to experience healing, to feel what healing looks like, and to have the tools to live a healthy life. So that's our mission. That's my mission in life. That's our mission at Acadiana Pain. So I hope we can help in any way. I hope this was helpful. So y'all have a great night.